I walk into the bar and glance around. A shyness creeping over me as people turn to look my way. My frantic eyes scan the faces for Emily, searching for a life raft on an open sea. I see her sitting front and center at the bar, leaning over and talking at length with a bartender. I swallow. That face followed by I swallow. Let me tell you something. They're not being subtle. I suppose I should interrupt. Walking up to her, I clear my throat softly and take a seat beside her. She glances my way through her long eyelashes and then turns aside again and continues talking to the bartender. Oh, okay, I think, as my heart curls up in itself and quickly dies. Wait, did she not recognize me? I clear my throat softly, mustering up the courage to at least say her name. Emily? I flinch when she turns to look at me, bracing myself for rejection. Her eyes trail over me for a moment before recognition sparks in her eyes. Oh yes, you're the girl! And the boy, actually. Emily's faintly concerned gaze drops towards my crotch. Oh! I mean, in this day and age, that's really no problem, but some more warning, maybe. No, that's not, no! My name is Miley, and I'm a girl, just so we're clear, always have been. It says Miles on my profile because I'm an idiot. And my profile picture is boyish because again, I'm an idiot. That's really all it comes down to, I suppose. I messed up my name and didn't think anything about choosing an old picture. It's the only one I had that was really nice. Someone else took it for me. I never look good in pictures I try to take myself. Honestly, I think Miley looks better than Emily in this game. Emily glances me up and down. I can't read her face. All I know is that she seems pretty important and intimidating. Finally, she starts to laugh. The warm and welcome sound bubbles from her lips. Not at all the mockery I expected. I breathe a sigh of relief. A Miley with an identity crisis! Who would have ever guessed? If you had spelled your name extra wrong, you might have ended up as Emily. Wouldn't that have been something? Well, Milesy, I'll have to say I'm a bit disappointed. I was looking forward to getting to discover what's under those pants of yours. But I suppose there's always fun in that, isn't there? Here, let me help you, darling. She reaches out and plucks my phone from my hand without asking. Well, I'm terribly disappointed. I'm not getting a twin sub, and you're not a trap. I'm still a benevolent soul at heart. I just can't stand to leave someone in such desperate need. Honestly, going around with you, with all your dating information messed up like that. She shakes her head and fiddles around on my phone while I try to work out what a trap is. Maybe some kind of scammer? Why would she be disappointed I'm not a scammer? I'm afraid to ask and make myself look more like a fool than I already have. Here. She stands up, holding my phone in front of her. The lighting in here isn't the best, but with a few edits you won't even know it. Turn your head at a 27-degree angle. 27? I slowly begin to turn my head. That's 30 degrees at the very least. Honestly, haven't you ever taken pictures before? She takes my chin in her hand and tilts my head just so. There. Now smile. I struggle not to move as Emily climbs up onto her bar stool, bouncing precariously on her knees. I speak through my gritted teeth, trying desperately to keep my head still, while half the bar now stare in our direction. What are you doing? Getting the perfect angle, of course. Now unbutton that shirt. We're not going to door spreading religious messages. You can show a little cleavage. I actually can't. Not without tearing it. Only the top button is real. Emily pokes at my chest as if doubting I know my own clothes, bringing a hot blush to my cheeks. Her fingers play dangerously close to my chest, making my body ache with a nervous anticipation. I didn't realize I was this touch-starved. You aren't kidding about the shirt. And just how attached to the shirt are you? Is this really necessary? Wait, is this really necessary? Of course not. You're right. I sigh with relief. We can just edit that in later, too. What? Alright, now look up at the lens and think, puppies! Squirmy fat little puppies with milk in their muzzles tipping over themselves with their clumsy little pawsy wuzzies. My heart flutters at the thought, and Emily suddenly exclaims, Aha! Perfect! I blink at them. Why did they have to pick that face? That one's kind of... I heard Doki Doki has a little bit of a horror-esque thing going on. Not quite, but kinda. Kinda creepy. I blink in alarm. The warm and fuzzy thoughts jostled from my head as my phone is dropped back into my hands. I gasp loudly at the new profile picture waiting for me. How? Is that really me? I want to hold the phone up to the mirror just to compare, and touch my own face as if Emily has someone given me surgery. I have no idea how Emily got the photo color to be soft rose gold or how she made my skin glow, but the angle, the expression, those are magazine perfect. I wish I looked like this all the time. You do. You have such a bright expression. You must have a good heart, but cameras are fickle things and not good at capturing the spirit of a person. The person who makes a camera that can capture the soul will be very rich. Her eyes turn glossy. I'm already rich, but I hope it's in me anyway. Do you study photography? Oh, darling, you don't have to study something to make it your art. I've been taking selfies since before we called them selfies. How old are these people? When I was 9 years old, my art teacher made us draw boring and miserable still lives. I painted a still life of picture frame. The picture inside the frame was me. She brings a hand to her cheek. I've always enjoyed aesthetics. A blush creeps into my cheeks. I couldn't be more the opposite and feel plain and boring sitting next to someone so vibrant. A boring brown robin sitting next to a bird of paradise. Even Emily's personality radiates strong opinions and wild impulses. She has no shame at all when boasting of her own vanity, while I get embarrassed by silly things like my own messy handwriting. A psychology major in me belongs to determine if Emily is simply confident or is a classic narcissist, but I shut out the desire. Run fast from far. Yes. I'm afraid I might not want to know the answer. Instead, I glance at my phone again, avoiding looking at Emily. She might have a good sense for weakness, and I don't want her to see how much her strong personality shakes me. You even changed my name. To Emily. It seemed like nothing. Naturally intuitive, I wish I could understand electronics like that. Miles is a cute name for a boy, certainly, but Miley suits you. Ah, but I'm being rude. I promised you drinks, didn't I? She snaps her fingers for the bartender, who somehow doesn't seem insulted by being beckoned so harshly. Oh. You did, but that was when you thought there were two of me and that we were going on a date. I don't expect you to just buy me drinks because I showed up. That's silly. And it's silly to show up to a bar for a date if you don't want the date. You didn't have to come to explain the truth to me, but you did. So, she pushes a drink that I didn't order in front of me, the bright pink liquid swimming in the glass. My thought fills out as I stare at Emily and try to digest what she's offering me. You still want to go on a date? With just me? Of course, unless you were never interested. It would break my heart a bit, but look at all the alcohol in this place. I'll be fine. A flutter squirms in my stomach when I meet Emily's warm, open gaze. Well, if you're really still offering, then yes, I'd love a date. No, with confidence, try again. Emily stares at me like I'm auditioning for a part. I clear my throat loudly, feeling a flourish of confidence rise up in me. I'd love a date. There we go. Now I think you actually might mean it and aren't just sparing an old lady's feelings. Old? You don't seem old to me. And why would I go? Oh, excuse me, why would I? Going on dates with sweet little things like you keeps me young. Curious about this woman, I take my drink and taste. The meeting of sugar and fruit totally masks the tang of alcohol underneath. No, it doesn't. Emma goes through another glass and the time it takes me to sip at mine. I gawk at her without meaning to as she smoothly licks a droplet off the corner of her painted lip. So, what do you do for a living, darling? I've already been holding the answer in my head. I like to think I have a sense for that. Technically, she's a guidance counselor, so she... I knew it. You did? You're a school bus driver. A school bus driver? Is that really the vibe I give off? My uncertain expression makes Emily pause. No, that's not it. I shake my head. I'm a guidance counselor. Oh, a guidance counselor. I had a best friend who was a guidance counselor. Well, technically, that was my guidance counselor. She would always let me skip class to come to her office. She'd let me smoke in there and we'd talk about her divorce. It's still a cougar. I think. Now that I think about it, I probably helped her more than she ever helped me. Do you have that kind of relationship with any of your students? No, I hope not. Such a shame. She was instrumental to my success in high school. I laugh quietly, a bit worried about what Emily's formative years were like, but she certainly seems to look back on them fondly. Anyway, you must have the patience of a saint to put up with the children day in, day out. Not that I don't like children, I just respect them for the polite distance. Like the balcony of a child-free resort I always look when I go on vacation. My face pales. Though that begs the question, do you deal with the little messy ones or the big ones? I work with older students, so they're all teenagers or young adults. See? Teenagers I can deal with. I can play petty teenage games better than they can, as I've been doing it for years. But sticky hands and manic energy, no thank you. Oh, little children aren't that bad. Just have a couple of wet wipes handy and you can be ready to know all the most popular children's songs and dances. They're quite cute when they're little. Emily's eyes twinkle as she glances at me. You like them? Well, of course, you said you like them too. She giggles and sips again at her drink. I lied. You have to when you're a woman, if you want to blend in with any polite society anyway. Usually I wouldn't make the effort, but you're just so cute I can't help myself. I want to actually impress you. She thinks I'm actually cute. My heart rate spikes dangerously. I blink stupidly before it dawns me that Emily is getting slightly drunk. Of course she is. She was drinking before I even got here. The alcohol must be running away with her tongue. I glanced toward my own drink, which I barely touched. Should we try to keep up, or should we stay sober? There's like 5 endings to this game, depending on what we pick, so. I say, let's have fun. What's the matter? She must have noticed me staring at the drink. If you don't like it, we can always get you something else. Maybe I read you wrong and you're not a fruity kind of girl at all. How about a White Russian? Are you sure they even make that here? No, really, it's fine. This drink is wonderful. I'll just try to take it slow. You should be warned, darling. I don't do anything slow. Life is short and fleeting, and I want to pack as much punch into it every day as possible. The slow burn is for people who intend to be alive in 10 years. Count me out. She waves her hand dismissively. I want to learn to paraglide and bungee jump and own a pet tiger one day. There's safety for the lifting. There's no safety for the living. You really want to do all those dangerous things? Of course. I enjoy the good life to the full, so why not? I had my midlife crisis at 23, so I'm well and truly set to go out in whatever place of glory takes me. I can't imagine living that way. I'd be terrified all the time. I knew Emily and I would be different from the moment I saw her, but I didn't know we would be this different. The woman practically has a death wish, or maybe just an unusually healthy and accepting view of mortality. That sounds more polite. I suppose you should go with that. Yeah, one ending has he wound up dead in a gutter. Don't worry, darling. I only drag along people who want to come. Behind every great risk taker is a conserved loved one driving them to the emergency room. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. So, you looked at my profile, I suppose, but I never got a chance to look at yours. Really? You didn't even vet my profile before showing up to the date? She looks impressed. Wow, that's either very flattering or very desperate. Can it be both? Both it is. Cheers. My profile doesn't reveal much anyway. That's why I use video calls. I make a more meaningful impression in person than I ever could on paper. But your profile didn't exactly have any information on it either. Just that you were looking for a woman, your name was Miles, and a string of numbers and letters that I can only assume was you being confused about filling out a description. I blushed guiltily. Yep, sounds like me. So cute. If I had known I could spell out what I was looking for, I would have done that. No wonder I didn't get offers for so long. Descriptions aren't that important, especially not on a site like that. Everyone is looking for the same thing. Rich, attractive people to hook up with. Wait, what? That's not what I was looking for. Emily blinks at me confused. It isn't? No, I just wanted to find someone to go on dates with and get to know, then see where things led over time. Then why did you get put on the Then why did you put the sign up on an app called Booty Calls? That's what it spells? I almost fell out of my seat. Emily laughs happily at my despair. Oh, darling, you get more adorable by the minute. I'm glad you can find it amusing. I just think it's embarrassing. I stare sadly at my phone. People on here are rich as well. Where do they say that? I didn't read it anywhere, though I definitely read through the whole terms and agreement page. It took me a whole night, and at the end I still wasn't sure what I was agreeing to. Emily clicks her tongue. Well, it's a paid app. Why pay to sign up for a dating service when there are so many free ones unless you want to flaunt that you can afford it? There are free ones? Oh, of course there are free ones! I keep that despair to myself. I've dug the hole deep enough. I don't think I can see the sunlight anymore. I guess we really are here looking for different things. And now I feel guilty, like I've misled her. That's a shame. You're not interested in some short, fleeting fun? Oh, is that so? Emily smiles sharply and leans close to me, giving me a faint whiff of lavender and burning sage. Do you find me that persuasive? Because I haven't really tried yet. I peek up into Emily's intense gaze, where I swear I feel a jolt of electricity jump from her and into me. I nod eagerly. Absolutely. I wonder why she's interested in me. I'm clearly not what she was looking for, but maybe she isn't picky. I'm not even sure if this is still a date, or if it is, as Emily said, just some fun. But it doesn't matter either way, date or otherwise. I could certainly use a friend around Paradise Cove, and fun isn't something I'll pass up on. A bit. Still a little bit, Ugh. Not when the alternative is my quiet, empty apartment. You've already made a strong case for yourself. I struggle wondering how to put it politely. Interesting, overwhelming, bizarre. No need for hesitation, dear. I've heard it all before. Interesting. Yes, let's go with that one. She lifts her glass. Ta! Interesting it is. Why don't you and I get out of here, then? Already? The surprise must show on my face because Emily giggles. So that I can finish convincing you, silly. I find people are much more easily persuaded with a belly full of good food, and I do like to make a compelling case for myself. The alcohol helps, of course, but it's like I always say, if you want to make your tongue happy, you have to make their tongue happy. I tilt my head, trying to riddle out her meaning. You know, because if you want to sloppily make out with someone for half the night, you should at least feed them first. So your tongue is happy, and their tongue is happy. It makes complete sense in my head. Bold, assuming we're going to be making out at the end of the night. She purrs. Oh, I'm a miserable little optimist. Always hanging my hopes so high. This is all happening so quick, but I'm not interested in reaching for the brakes. I don't want it to stop. This is the most fun and strangely intense situation I've been in a long time. I don't object as Emily leads me out of the bar, and I follow in wake of her confident strides.